Hey guys, welcome to our lecture today. Finally, we are going to talk about the different single-cellular organisms or unicellular organisms. And the first one in line is an organism called paramecium. Now, if you look at the picture here, you see so many hair-like structures, so many strands on that single cellular organism. Those strands or those hair-like structures are called cilia. And these are tiny hairs that kind of move back and forth, like oars of a boat, like how you move the oars in a direction, right? That's how cilia moves. It kind of goes back and forth to help the organism move. And in case if you're wondering what paramecium looks like, I have a picture for you. Now this is a good picture of a paramecium. As you can see, it is surrounded by hair-like structures that's going to let it move. And this is normally the head, and this is the tail. And it moves in direction towards the right. It also has several other parts or several other organelles within the cell. There is a cytoplasm, and as you know, this is already a cilia. There's an anal pore. This is where the waste that the cell accumulates gets out from. And then there is a vacuole, which is contractible, which means it can expand or it can shrink depending on the amount of water or nutrients it's trying to store. As you can see here, there's something called the macronucleus, which macro means bigger, so the bigger nucleus that controls almost everything except reproduction. And the micronucleus right here is the one that actually controls reproduction. And finally, we have an oral groove. Oral normally means the entrance of the mouth, right? So we can imagine that oral groove is somewhere the food enters the system. And that's right. So this is where the food enters the system. So if you can see this layer out here, this is what normally gives cilia its shape. It moves really, really fast. And it's actually very interesting to see it move, as you can see in the video that you've already watched. Now let's move on to another organism. Over here, we have something called euglena. Now this is really a cute structure, isn't it? And it's green. Now, if you remember, most plants that are green, and they contain something called chlorophyll or chloroplasts that allows them to create their own food through photosynthesis, right? And euglena is actually one of the single-celled organisms that actually have chloroplasts and create chlorophyll to complete the process of photosynthesis. The little strand that you see here is called a flagella. And this is what normally helps euglenas move. So what happens is on their head they have this hair or this single hair-like structure, and that will normally pull or force the entire cell body to move forward. And that's how euglena moves. Now, these little things that you see here with the tiny holes are normally chloroplasts, and this blue hole right here, or this blue substance right here, is the nucleus. Now they are very quick to move, and they can also move back and forth. Some characteristics make it more similar to plant, and others make it more similar to animals. For example, if you actually keep euglena in a dark space without sunlight, it actually loses its green color because photosynthesis no longer works. But they will still continue to survive if there's organic matter in their surroundings. So they can normally found in places or in water where there's, a lot of organic matter that they can feed from. Next, we have amoeba. As you can see here, it's literally like a blob, and that's exactly what it is, a blob. So with amoeba, it doesn't really have a concrete structure. It has no shape. Even when you're drawing it, you can literally make it like anything. And it normally moves through something called a pseudopod, which means false feet. Now, if you look over here, this can be classified as a pseudopod because it is extending itself so that it can move. If you've watched the video as to how amoebas move, you might have found it very interesting to see. It's just oozing along. It doesn't really have, a concrete manner of moving like euglena or paramecium. It's just oozing along like slime, and that's an accurate representation of what amoeba is. Finally, we have volvox. They are kind of a type of algae, and as you can see here, they're green, which means they can also carry out photosynthesis. They are single-celled, but they normally thrive in a colony, which means they kind of cluster together with other volvox cells. Now, if you can see here, this is an accurate depiction of what volvox looks like. Though single-cellular, it as I already said, it exists in colonies, and this is an adult colony of volvox. It's typically a hollow ball with some daughter colonies that will later grow and reproduce eventually when they become adult colony. And these little hair-like structures here are again called flagella, and that's what helps them move. So each flagella contracts and expands to help the colony, to help the volvox move. And this is what it looks like. I can show you a better picture. Oh, there we go. So this is a better picture of what volvox looks like, the algae colony. These little things are the daughter colonies, and the whole thing right here is the adult colony. This is how it looks like in a microscope. This is, as you can guess, it has a hair-like structure. So it's a euglena. This is a flagella right here, and this is what it looks like under a microscope. It kind of looks like, the pea pod. Yeah, very interesting, isn't it? And then we have something called paramecium. Now, this is what it looks like. Pretty much the way we saw the diagram, right? Very interesting. Its structure is normally the same, very concrete compared to other single-cellular organisms. And finally, amoeba. As you can see, it's literally a blob. No perfect shape. It's just oozing along, going wherever it needs to go. And it has pseudopods, the extending foot that is causing it to move. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later.